I also think that you went through like your healing and all of that from your traumas before I did, and you kind of made me realize certain things about myself that came from my childhood. And I feel like that's why I'm in therapy now. Like I don't think I would probably be in therapy if it wasn't so many things happening back to back that was like, okay, this is something that you need to talk about or deal with.
Welcome to another episode of the 11 Podcast. I am Nate. This is my wife.
And I'm Sydney. This is my husband.
All right. And today we will be talking about how we, at least, dealt with like the trials and tribulations of being in a relationship, a committed relationship, overcoming like toxic traits, and basically just growing with one another, trying to um, mesh mesh more in our relationship. Um, but yo, what do you First off, I just want to give ourselves a pat on the back for being a young black couple. I think it's good for us to be like doing the podcast and everything and sharing, parts of our lives with social like being a social media presence to give people that reminder and that it is possible to find love. Like everything doesn't have to be toxic, especially with a lot of like music that's
Yeah.
pushed
I just
towards
feel
our
like people
age
don't
group.
have like either they're focused on the wrong things in a relationship,
Hmm.
or I feel like they just don't have like non-negotiables.
Hmm.
The good like the good non-negotiables. If that makes
Right.
sense. Like
Yeah.
I feel like when we both met, we knew what we wanted in a person. Like not even in our like in each other, but I feel like we knew what we wanted for the future. And if they didn't align, then I don't think we probably would have been together. As far as
Right.
like family things, work, whatever we talked about.
I do think the person that's meant for you, like, it'll be hard. I think some people's, like, the first thing that's wrong, they leave the relationship
Yeah,
or they don't have enough patience to deal with a person.
they'll be like, "Oh, you don't want to do this? Okay, bye."
Yeah, but I think
If you really want a
patience.
relationship, then you have to. It takes work. It takes
Hmm.
compromise. You're gonna have arguments. Like no relationship's perfect.
Right.
You can get to a point where you don't argue, but it's not just gonna be automatically. You have to understand each other.
Right. It's like learning anything. Like, you're not gonna know everything trying to learn it.
Yeah.
So you have to go through the disappointments or through the sad emotions, angry emotions. You have to go through it, but from it, you'll definitely grow. As long as you love that person enough, and you care about that person enough,
Yeah.
then you'll make it through. Um, but I was saying, I think it's good that people get to see young black love, um, especially with all like the things that are pushed towards our age group. Um,
Maybe we could do advice. Like advice. What's one thing that you would tell them that helped you, and or that would have helped you? Something that you learned within us learning each other that you could tell them.
Something
Does
that
that make
helped
sense?
me,
Or that would have helped you that you learn now, basically.
that would have helped me,
Something that you know that helped you in our relationship,
and
or
something that
something that you like with trials that you've learned
mm,
that you now know
okay.
within our relationship.
something that helped me was never questioning our relationship. So like the thoughts of like, I don't know if I can do this, like those thoughts. I don't think I really ever let those thoughts creep in. I was just always 100% sure of our relationship.
You
Even when
think
we,
since the beginning?
even, yeah, even like when we first met, and how I would say, like, I know this is gonna be my wife, like how I felt about you and stuff.
Hmm.
Like, I was just always 100%, 100% sure. So I think that's one thing is if this is the person, if it's a person that you really want to be with,
So you were
never.
100% sure. You were 100% sure, but she'd say otherwise.
When did I say otherwise?
Like, remember when we first moved in together? Like,
Yeah, that was
when
me.
stuff got really hard
That was me. That
because of
was
outside, like, forces. I think we're both at that point where we're irritated with each other. And I felt like that was like, I just felt like it was a lot.
yeah. Even then though, I was still 100% sure. Like sometimes we don't say what we like. It's like
What
when
we
you're
mean, okay. When you're mad.
yeah,
Some
like
people say when you're mad, you say what you mean. Some people
nah.
think otherwise.
I don't. I think you can be happy and just like say something you don't mean just because you're happy. I don't think when you're angry you say something like I don't think there's really any correlation between like when you're angry you say what you mean or when you're angry you say something you don't mean. You can be happy and say something you mean, but also be happy and say something you don't mean just because you're in the moment, you're happy.
Okay.
But I think it's just when you're more clear minded is when you say what you mean.
Yeah.
Um, my head wasn't clear then
Yeah, you weren't
throughout that time,
spiritually or mentally
right? So,
working on yourself.
but that's one thing that helped me is always being sure. Like I always knew this would be the person that I would be with, and I never questioned it, and I truly feel like I manifested it into my life because that's just the mindset I carried. Um, Something I learned along the way. Um, I would say something I learned along the way is that um, there's a difference. There's a difference between there's a difference between masculine and feminine energy. I learned that there's a difference, and I could probably say that's still something I'm learning how to
For sure.
deal with, like how to be in tune with her feminine energy. Because sometimes me, I'm just like a straightforward person.
Mm-hmm.
Like if I see an issue like with myself, if I see an issue, I'm going to address it and like figure it out the way that works best for me. But I know that doesn't work best for her. But when it doesn't work for her, I'm just like, why? Like, why can't you just deal with it
We're
like
not the
this?
same.
Why can't you just do it? You know what I'm saying? That's how it is for me. But I'm still learning that we're not the same. Not only are we not the same person, but we're the opposite
Gender.
gender. Yeah, so we completely deal with things differently. But at the same time, I do think you should take action more often with the things that I do. With
What do
the
you
things that
mean?
I
I'm so
do,
confused. I feel like we're going off
I know
topic.
we are going off topic a little bit.
I'm like,
Anyway, we'll
what?
get back to that. We'll get back to that later. But
Okay, something
something
that I.
that helped me along the way is learning the difference between masculine and feminine energy.
Okay. Something that I. What was I even questioning? Like something that I knew in our relationship from the beginning.
And then something you learned along the way.
Um. Something that I knew within our relationship. I would say the same as you. Like even when stuff got hard, I'd never thought like, okay, I'm not gonna do this somewhere.
Hmm. Yeah, I
Like that
think
was never
that's really a key
anything in
factor.
my head.
It's just the
Like
commitment. Like, if you guys both tell each other that like, okay, we're committed no matter what.
yeah,
Like that's something we
I think
always
it just always it's based on like
reassured
both
each
of
other
us
about.
trying.
Yeah, that's something we both reassured each other about like a lot. Like no matter what happens outside of us, it's always us. Like it's
Yeah.
we're on the same team. If we get mad about like financial issues or we get mad about family issues, like we remind ourselves that okay, these are just things that are happening to us. Let's not let what's happening to us like split us apart
Yeah.
because we're still on the same team. Like it's not like I'm against you.
Yeah.
We're just frustrated right now, but we're on the same team. So that's what it's really all about.
Yeah. I
Um,
feel like one thing that I've learned throughout us being together, I've learned a lot of things through you, like your journey from the beginning. So I guess I could say the same thing, masculine, feminine. Um, I always feel like I should have, like veganism and stuff like that, or plant based, whatever.
mhm,
I always knew that was something that I wanted to be about. So that's not anything I learned.
mhm.
One thing that I have learned is do not tell everybody your business. Even when it comes to like mom, dad, do not tell everybody your business because it'll come back to bite you in the ass. Not bite you in the ass, but like once you're over it, it'll keep getting brought up. And it's just like, why? Like, you don't want whoever you're telling your business to, even if it's like not spur of the moment, but you know, like you need to vent to somebody, vent to your partner because at the end of the day, once y'all get over it, it should just be, y'all should just be over it. Like, it shouldn't be brought up again. It shouldn't be
Yeah,
talked about. I don't know.
that's definitely true.
But yeah,
Whatever y'all go through should be just between y'all. Because only y'all going through it. When stuff is bad, it's only y'all. When stuff is good, it's only y'all. You might tell somebody something that happened bad to y'all, but then when y'all doing good,
yeah,
you don't
they're
talk
gonna
to them
still
as
hold it
much. So
against
they're
whoever.
still only thinking that y'all relationship is based off that bad experience. When really it was just something y'all was going through, and it really has nothing to do with how y'all relationship actually is.
Yeah, that's what I would be saying. Like, y'all are not with whoever 24/7. Like, you don't really know the person.
Right.
You just know what they're telling you or what happened in that period of time. But anyway, yeah, don't tell everybody your business.
Um, that was a good one. Don't tell everybody your business.
I don't know what's going on out here at the park. Like, it's so loud today, but
We got some
I don't
event.
think they can hear it in the mic. Hopefully not.
No, you can't. You can only hear like
But
what's in front of it.
What else?
Okay.
I just think we like the majority of our arguments came from us not understanding each other. I feel like slowly but surely we're understanding each other more. So we have less arguments, or we have periods of time where we don't argue at all. But when things get like hectic or we both are stressed, I feel like that's when arguments
Yeah.
happen.
Yeah, that's one thing I've realized too. That most of our arguments don't even come from us being mad at each other.
It just comes from
It just
stress and
comes
not
from
seeing each other.
stress. Yeah, like if we're both working a lot and we haven't seen each other, we'll probably start being like less patient with each other
Yeah.
or more snappy, just because not because of that person, but just because everything else going on.
Yeah.
Um, how how do you think we dealt with each other's like toxic traits, like stuff that we came into the relationship with already?
How did we
What?
handle it?
Yeah, like how do you what do you think helped us grow from that? I
Give me
mean,
an example.
of course, the commitment, but like trauma from like as a child, from your childhood,
Mhm.
and then getting into a relationship,
Mhm.
and then that person having to deal with those traumas,
Mhm.
and you as a person, and the things that you need to better about yourself. How do you think we got? how do you think we were able to better each other, basically?
Um, I don't really know what you're asking. I'm just say what I think you're asking me, and then you can correct me if I'm wrong. But I feel like you went through your own thing. Like, I knew what your childhood was like from the beginning, but I feel like you never really let it show. Like, you didn't let it.
For sure.
I don't know. I feel like you were thinking about it mentally, but you didn't really let it control you.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and even then, I feel like for you, I was that like nurturing person to
Mm-hmm.
like kind of take you away from whatever you were thinking about.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I also think that you went through like your healing and all of that from your traumas before I did, and you kind of made me realize certain things about myself that came from my childhood.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like that's why I'm in therapy now. Like, I don't think I would probably be in therapy if it wasn't so many things happening back to back that was like, okay, this is something that you need to talk about or deal with.
That's really good. I never thought about it like that. Like I knew, in a sense, that we influence one another,
Hmm.
but I didn't think about like if I hadn't worked on like self love and healing myself,
Yeah.
like the effect that it would have on you.
Yeah. I think I probably would have still been in like, if you weren't eating right, if you weren't learning the things you were learning, passing on to me, I don't think I probably would still be in that like depressed state, not in therapy, not
Mm-hmm.
probably wouldn't have fixed anything.
Mm-hmm. Dang, that's deep.
I didn't think I like. I don't know if I didn't think that I needed to fix anything or I just didn't have the motivation to fix it.
Right. Yeah, no, for sure. That's one thing. Definitely, I think having a growth mindset towards every aspect of your life. So not just literally a growth mindset, but if it's with your relationship, like you shouldn't want your relationship to get stagnant. It should be continuously getting
Better.
better because there is
Yeah.
no end. Like there's people who have been together for 30, 40 years and they're still working at their relationship.
Yeah.
And they're probably at a great spot, but you don't ever want to get comfortable. Everything should be a continuous growth.
Yeah.
Um, so I think that's really what it is for
You
us
didn't answer your
because
own question.
what helped us like get through the
Like, do you agree
toxic
with that?
traits
You
and
agree with
stuff.
what I said?
Yeah, I definitely agree
Okay.
with what you said. Um, but I'm saying I think the growth mindset is what helped us get through a lot of it. We were never thinking about like,
In that whole like depressed period that I was, I just felt so stagnant. I just
mm,
didn't know how to get out of it.
right,
Like, I felt like I was depressed because I was stagnant.
right. So I think that's what it is. You gotta keep pushing each other to grow. Like you push
Yeah.
me
And
to
you were
grow.
also like working at a job that you didn't want to work at. Like,
Hmm.
you were working all the time.
I still am, but
Yeah, you still are, but at least it's something that you enjoy doing.
yeah.
And you have like a better schedule
Hmm.
versus being at work all day. Probably like, I think you were working 6 days a week.
Hmm.
You still work 6 days a week, but yeah. Um,
Um, yeah. Growth mindset is very important. If you get somewhere like if y'all get through something and you think, all right, we're comfortable now. Like we made it through that stage of our relationship. We're not bickering about these things. There's
yeah.
always going to be something. It's
Something
always
else.
going to
Yeah.
be something else. That's why you have to have the mindset of no matter what comes, like we're gonna keep it pushing. Like it's you and
Yeah.
me against everything else, not stuff
Against us.
pushing against us, like making us go against each other.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, growth mindset is what I would say.
I feel like you just had to find the person for you.
Yeah, you also do
Because
gotta find the person. Some people would just be
like, we can talk about all this stuff, but if whoever you're with
yeah.
isn't thinking about this type of stuff or like willing to do these type of things, then you're just not meant to be
They're
together.
just holding you back, honestly.
Yeah.
Um, but I was gonna say, I do truly believe who you are is who you attract. Cause in high school,
Mm.
like I attracted a lot of people, but I didn't entertain everybody. And I think if you are who you are as a person, if you know who you are, if you know yourself, it'll be easier to identify who is for you and who's not. You know what I'm saying? And you'll attract who you are.
Need some sunlight in my
And when
eyes.
you know yourself, you'll know which person it is that's right for you. Like once you attract that right person, you'll
Yeah,
know they're the
yeah, for
right
sure.
one because you know yourself.
Yeah,
So
I
like
feel like that.
you can look at a person with certain tendencies and know like, all right, yeah, they're not like me, like, or you already know like they're probably into things that will hold you back.
Yeah,
But when I met you, I just from who you were as a person, like I knew, okay, this is the person that's going to help me grow in life.
yeah,
That's why I saw you as my wife, like not as my girlfriend, not somebody I was trying to just get with.
yeah,
Because of who you were, I knew like, okay, this is a growth. Like this person's going to help me grow.
yeah. I feel like before I met you my freshman year in high school.
Hmm.
I feel like before I met you, I always knew what I wanted, but I just felt like I'm not gonna find it because obviously I was young. Like I was young in high school, thinking about a husband and all this other stuff.
Me too.
Why?
Me
I
too.
don't know,
I mean,
but
but I don't
I
think
knew what
that's
I
bad.
wanted.
I
Like I
feel
didn't
like
want to
you
waste my
should.
time with anybody.
Yeah, I feel like you should be thinking that far ahead. Like
Yeah.
people be like, "Oh, you're young."
Like
Like,
I always said, I'm dating to marry. I'm not dating you just to date you. Dating you,
right, right,
like no.
right. What is the point of
Um,
doing that? Like, what is the
yeah.
point of dating to date? That don't even make sense.
And then when we did meet and we were talking and stuff, and then we kept breaking up, like I always knew because of the conversations that we had before we broke up that I was not gonna find anybody else for me.
Hmm. Yeah, I knew too.
Like,
I mean, one thing about me, like, I'm not like self-centered or anything, but like, cause I'm very humble. Like, if you meet me in person, I will never like. I'm never just like cocky. I'm very quiet actually,
yeah,
but I know who I am. Like you could never like try to make me feel like
you're somebody else or
I'm,
influenced by
yeah,
something.
or like I'm not that guy. Like I know who I am. I know what I'm capable of. But I also appreciate the things that other people are capable of, which is why I'm not cocky because I know I might be really good at something that they're not, and they might be really good at something that I'm not.
Yeah,
But I know I'm walking in my purpose, so it's like you could never steer me astray. Um, but yeah, what was I about to get at?
I don't know. Me saying that I know that I can't find anybody else that's for me.
Oh yeah, me. I knew I could attract. That's not even what I was about to say.
I feel like that's why I was super
Anyway,
serious after we
go ahead.
got back together. Or when did we really officially like stop breaking up? Before you went to the military?
Yeah, I know what I was about to say. When we kept breaking up, I knew you could. I knew you could never really leave me because I know like I was one of one. Like I was like who else in high school had like my mindset? Like who talked about the things I talked about?
Yeah.
Like
And how we even got
everybody was
introduced to each
just trying
other
to get
was
in
like
somebody's panties, like
crazy. True.
or like trying to
True.
just have a girlfriend for
Bruh.
social media and stuff like, or a boyfriend for social just to post and stuff like.
Yeah.
Nah, like I was looking for a wife that like that's the mindset I had,
Yeah.
and like once you come across me, it's like if you lose me, good luck. Because somebody's going to like I just
That
knew how
last time we
good I was
broke
as a
up,
person, but also for you though, like I knew if I didn't have you, like I was like I know I'm not gonna find one for a minute.
yeah, same.
Like
I feel like that last time we broke up, I was like, hit me hard. I was like, okay, for real. Like, I need to stop playing.
hmm
Because I feel like every other time we broke up, we weren't really dating anybody.
yeah,
But that last time I knew you were talking to somebody, I was like, yeah, no, I don't like that. I don't like it at all. I gotta get it together.
that's what it took. Huh?
Maybe.
Yeah, I think it's like that in general though. Like when people see you single,
It really wasn't
they
even me
don't really
playing
want
though.
you,
It
but
was just
when
me
you get in a
scared of my
relationship, they want you.
parents
Yeah,
the
definitely.
whole time.
That used to
Mostly,
make
like,
me so mad. Like, why are you?
I'm
I
not
don't know.
scared of my parents,
Maybe it's
but
just
just
because.
like I knew what their expectations were versus for like dating and things like that.
Hmm.
Um, so even if we did want to hang out outside of school, I knew it wasn't gonna be okay with him. So I would just feel like, what's the point?
Yeah. I think.
Like us hanging out the first couple times was me, like, saying I was going somewhere else.
Yeah. I mean, I understand that. I guess because I didn't have many expectations.
You're a boy. Your mom did not.
Yeah, they don't really have many expectations for you.
Yeah.
Like, they just want you to meet a nice girl.
Mhm.
But I mean, I can get that. I can definitely get that. That used to bum me out a lot though.
Breaking up with you because not parents.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I can respect it though. At least I know you not out here like allowed to do whatever you want.
Bruh. Yeah. No.
You know what I'm saying?
Not at all.
At least I know you were like
Not at all.
you were, because without them you wouldn't have even be the person you were. You know what I'm saying? Without that discipline or whatever however you grew up.
I don't know. I mean,
I mean,
I don't ever think that I really had bad like examples of a man in my family. Like I feel like all of the men in my family have pretty good heads on their shoulders. I just think that I knew, or maybe I was. I don't really remember being told what I should want in a person. I just think that I knew what I wanted in a person. I don't know.
Yeah, I do believe something like I believe there's some things in us that are like programmed into us, but I also believe there's some things about us that are like just us. Like nobody could have taught us or told us.
Yeah,
We just
yeah.
know.
Yeah.
And I think when you're in tune with yourself, you start to figure those things out. Like the things that nobody told you or nobody taught you how to be like, the things that are just you, like 100% you.
Yeah.
Those are the parts of yourself that you should embrace.
Yeah.
Nobody taught me how to like write or like of course you learn in school, but like not everybody's good at that.
I'm not good at writing at all.
Like that's what I'm saying. So
oh
like
my
those are the things you
gosh.
should embrace.
I hated it. How we even met was crazy. Like, I didn't really think. I don't even know why I knew Miss Goki would give you the note.
Mhm.
But
Yeah, that's wild. I never heard of
I
that.
kept, because you would always go to her class after me.
Because if anything, Miss Loki gotta be cool. Because if anything, like you would think a teacher would like
With,
ball it
like,
up and like
right?
be like,
No, I'm not gonna give it to
I'm
him.
gonna call your parents.
But I kept on seeing you in the hallway walking to Miss Goki's class, and I don't know who you'd be walking with. I don't even remember who you were walking with. But I'd be like, I keep seeing you. And I'd see you in the gym sometimes too. But I didn't know you. So,
Right.
but I knew you were in her class. So I asked her about you, like, so who was this person? Yada, yada, yada. She was like, yeah, I'll give him the note. I'll give him the note.
Yeah. Yeah, she came up to my desk one day. Like I sat at my desk because I sat in the back, like right next to the door.
I always sat in the front.
I sat right next to the door, and yeah, she just came up over my shoulder. She set the paper on my desk. She was like, "There's this girl named Sydney in my other class. She's very nice. She's smart and she's very pretty, and she wants to talk to you." And she was
Aww.
like, she wrote this letter, and I read it, and that's when I was like, everything you wrote and how to get in contact with you. I was like, damn, this is dope. I've never had that experience before. A teacher gave me
I've never done that before either. Like, I've always been shy when it comes to approaching someone.
Yeah.
But, yeah. What else have we learned how to do with each other?
Patience.
Yeah.
Patience is very key. Even when you're very upset, like you still have to, like you can be upset, but you still gotta have that patience. Like the patience after everything is,
Patience
after
is
all those
definitely, like, a
emotions are out
steady-
and stuff, like you gotta be able to deal with it after the argument. Some people walk out on the argument,
Yeah.
and then they want to try to talk about it after they already done like cut ties. But I think
What do you
staying
mean?
in it through the hard times is where the beauty really starts to show. Like the hard times we were going through, if we would have gave up then, I think
Like
we
what,
would have
in a
regretted it.
relationship?
Yeah, I think we would have regretted it later,
Yeah.
because now look at the good times that we get to have because we made it through those those hard moments.
Yeah.
So when I say patience, I don't just mean the patience like
Yeah, we really did not
in
like each other during that
like
period.
yeah, like I
I
don't
don't.
mean patience just like for a small amount of time. Like I mean patience over
Yeah.
like you need like
I was about to say.
4 months of patience because y'all might be going through something for like months.
Yeah.
So you gotta have that patience to get through it
Be
and
quiet.
really believe that.
I was about to say. You interrupted me. I was about to say that I feel like patience is definitely like a steady. Like you have to consistently work on. You have to consistently work on patience because, especially if you're working a lot, like we can get to a point where we have good patience, but when stuff starts getting to us, I feel like that's when we like it's testing our patience and how much we have for each other.
Yeah, and I mean we have friends that are in relationships that already have children, so I'm sure they can relate to some of the stuff we're talking about. Um,
What do you mean?
like as far as like what it takes to be in a long term relationship,
Okay.
I'm sure they may or may not be able to relate. Maybe they deal with their thing their relationship's different,
I
but
think every relationship is different.
yeah, every relationship definitely is different. But they may be able to relate to some things, and they might not be able to relate to some of the others. And um, but for us, definitely, I love the way that we carry ourselves as a unit. Um, even just like when we're like with your family and stuff, and you say like the way I look at you, or I don't know if your sister said that or something.
What?
Said something about the way I look at you. I don't
I don't
know. I
know either.
remember us having that conversation or somebody having that conversation. But I just love the way we carry ourselves, like when we're with each other out places.
Yeah.
Um,
I hate having disagreements out like
yeah,
outside of in
yeah.
public. I hate that.
That's a big no too. Like don't let like there should be a sense of like unbreakable
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
nobody should be able to look at your relationship and think like, oh, I can get in between that. Like,
Not
oh,
not
they
necessarily look
arguing.
at us and be like I can get in between that, but look at us and be like, oh, they're going through something. They're not on the same page right now. Like we should
Right,
always be.
right. Like they should. You should just.
That's how we would
You should
feel.
be
I don't know.
unbreakable. That's all I'm saying. Like
Yeah.
when people see y'all out together, it should be like, okay, that's Nate and Sydney.
They're strong.
Like
Like
yeah, like I know they already on the same page. Like,
yeah.
there's no trying to like break that up.
Yeah. I think you're good at that. Like not letting outside things get to you.
Hmm.
I feel like I'm still working on it for
Yeah,
sure.
I really like no. I don't care about
Like
anybody
I'm doing
else's
better about
input
it,
on.
but still, I feel like certain things just make my mood
Right.
like change.
Yeah, I don't care about anybody else's input unless it's yours.
Yeah.
Like I listen to everyone that has something to say to me. I listen, but that doesn't mean I'm taking your advice. I'm listening, and I may be agreeing because I understand what you're saying, but that doesn't mean I'm taking your advice. I'm just going to take it, reflect on it, but still make my own decision, um, good or bad. But if it's you, like if you have something to say, like that may actually affect me on an emotional level. But I think that's the way it's supposed to be. Nothing outside of our relationship affects me the way you do.
Yeah.
Um,
I feel like that's how it should be
yeah,
if you're
that's definitely how it should be.
serious about your partner.
And don't let things outside of your relationship put thoughts in your head.
Yes. That's something I'm
You
working on now.
may hear something and then come back and bring it to your partner only because you heard it out somewhere. Like it was probably never a thought in your head, and then you bring that home, and now it's an issue.
We experienced that together though.
Yeah, I think never do that because you're just bringing things into the relationship that had nothing to do with it in the first place.
I feel like you can do that as long as your partner like I feel like what happened recently, like we both knew about it. You know what I'm saying? I feel like you can do that when it happens together, like y'all can reflect about it. I feel like you can reflect about
Right.
anything
You can
together,
reflect
like,
about anything, but don't let
but
it
don't make it an issue.
an issue. Yeah.
Yeah,
Or don't make it like it's something that's added to the
that you're stressed about or worried
yeah that you're
about.
stressed about or even worried about.
Yeah,
Like you weren't worried about it until somebody brought it to you.
yeah. I feel like that happens a lot where people like just I don't really know if they just try to compare what happened to them or what they don't
Yeah.
want to happen to you or I don't know
Right.
what,
A
but it
lot
just
of
makes your mind more clouded than it needs to be.
right.
Because if you already have your mind set on something, don't let anybody like make you rethink
Right.
what you know.
Right. Right. And you may not, and they may be giving you
They
good
may
advice,
think
but
they're
it
giving you good
yeah, but it's
advice.
only like people can only give you advice based off of their experience.
Yeah,
Like two people can do the same exact thing
and
and
have
then
different outcomes.
have different outcomes. That's what I'm saying. So it's like even if they are telling you like, hey, if you do this, this might happen, but don't listen to that because it might not happen. Like,
Yeah,
and even if it does, you have to learn. Like you got to learn on your own. You won't.
yeah,
Somebody can tell you something, you still won't understand it. Like you can say, um, don't touch, don't touch that iron. Like as a kid, your parents probably told you don't touch that iron, but you don't really know that it's hot until you touch it. And now you know. But
oh my goodness, that bee just flew right to my ear.
just trying to tell you something.
Tell me what.
Um. So listen to your intuition.
Mm.
Your sister's calling.
Hmm. I'm doing a podcast right now.
I probably shouldn't have said nothing.
Yeah.
My bad.
Um. What else?
Motivating each other and reassuring each other. Um,
Love languages.
yeah, love languages too are very important. But I would say reassuring each other of what you guys' intentions are
With each other.
with each other. Yeah,
So
because
your minds are
sometimes
you're both on the same page. You're
right, because sometimes you can get like
lost.
lost just between like
Work.
the work. Yeah, like work coming home. You feel like you're just going through the same stuff and you forget
What you're
even
doing it
working.
for.
Yeah, what you're even doing it for. But yeah, reminding each other that hey, like I know we're going through a lot, but this is why we're doing it. Like it's not gonna last forever. Like those type of things helps. It even helps you like just saying
Yeah.
it to your partner. Like it reminds you yourself. Like,
I was telling my therapist the other day. I think this is another reason she was like, "Oh, yeah, I love your husband." But I was telling her when I tell you kept coming up through the whole session, but she was talking about like something about me, and I was like, "Yeah, I have trouble trying to focus on the present. Like it's hard for me to be in the present moment versus thinking about the future." I don't know how that came up, but yeah, I have trouble being in the present moment. Like I'm always thinking about. I don't know if I have trouble.
it's definitely being in the present. Because
Yeah,
when I say in the present, I don't mean like focus, like be here right now, but still be thinking about something else.
yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah,
when I
yeah.
say in the
Yeah.
present, I mean like fully, like fully observe the sun right now. Like be like, damn, like I'm so glad it's a beautiful day today.
Yeah.
Like listen to yourself breathe. Like have thanks for that, or like look up and realize that you have a roof over your head, closing your back. Like that's being in the present, and
Yeah.
it re-centers you. Like
I'm more focused
okay,
on
I'm
the
here right now.
future and like what I have to do to get to a point that I want to be at,
Right,
and it's stressing me out.
right. Yeah, you can't do that
So yeah,
because there's endless possibilities.
yeah.
You're gonna be making.
She
You're
was
gonna
like, "Don't
be.
put a time limit on your goals. 'Cause it's gonna make you feel like if you don't get there in that time limit, it's gonna
hmm
stress you out even more."
You just have to know that you're gonna get there and
Yeah.
just enjoy the journey there. That's why uh, my favorite quote from Bob Marley is, "Life is a journey, uh, not a destination." So like, you can envision
The
where you
journey
want
is
to.
just as important as the
Right.
destination.
You can envision where you want to be, and once you get that vision, do not question it. Do not think about how you're going to get there. Just know you're going to get there, and then everything you do throughout your journey should be an action or a representation of you already being what you want to be. You know what I'm saying? So like
Yeah.
I want to be the best barber in the 757. So now I'm going to already carry myself as if that is what I am. I'm going to put in the work. I'm going to put in the time because this is what I would have to do to even be the best barber in the 757.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, that's how you got to think about it. But I'm glad you are I'm glad you are like actually having those realizations and like you know what you need to do. It sounds like it sounds like you know what you need to do, like the changes you need to make within, um, which is good. I know I have changes that I'm working on. I really want to get I really want to get consistent with fasting
Mhm.
and being on a alkaline based diet. Um, so like yes, you can eat healthy, but I've experienced that, and now my body is telling me that I need to keep going.
Yeah.
Like I said, everything is a growth thing. Never get too comfortable because it's always going to be something you can change. And right now, I feel like that's what I need to change. I feel like that will help me push myself mentally and physically to a new version of myself, a better version of myself. Um, that along with consistent exercise. I do exercise, but not like I want to be like
I feel like we're going off topic, but it's okay. It's okay.
we're not, but
We are.
we're not.
What you're talking about has nothing to do with our us dealing with toxic traits with each other.
I think we're past that point.
You have attitude?
No,
Oh, okay.
I'm
Just
just
making
saying
sure.
I think we're past that point.
Okay.
All right, now I'm talking about what I think is my next step in life,
Okay.
which is to get to a more alkaline based diet, get great at fasting, get deeper into my meditation, and become physically stronger. So really just remold myself mentally, physically, and spiritually, and reach newer heights because I feel like everything that I've experienced up until this point um, is almost in a sense like making me go backwards. Like when you
What you
get
mean?
like when you get too
Is you comfortable?
yeah, like you get too comfortable
Yeah.
that you feel like you know everything, so that's your limit. So like you can experience everything at that point and then below. And I need to break through that threshold and experience more. Cause operating how I am is getting
Boring.
yeah, boring and it's causing me to search for things that excite me but in the wrong direction. But it takes discipline to keep going up.
Yeah.
And so really I just need to work on my discipline is what I'm saying. And I think through fasting and taking care of myself is the best way to build discipline. Like loving yourself is the best way to build discipline because you are loving yourself if you're being disciplined with yourself. If you're doing the things that you tell yourself you're gonna do, or that's loving yourself.
Yeah.
So yeah. Um, what about for you? What are the things that like I said, it kind of sounds like you already know what you need to do, and what direction you should be headed in, or the things you should be thinking about. But what is a change that you feel like you can make right now that'll
Health.
get you going?
Health wise, I think I could be working out more. Be consistent with that, and be consistent with eating habits. Um, continue therapy and actually like take notes in therapy because I feel like I'm there listening in the moment, and I do still like remember little things when I leave, but I feel like I need to write it down um, to retain it.
Yeah, me too. I think I need to start writing stuff down, get back to journaling. Um,
Journaling is something that I definitely want to get into. because I haven't
It
even written
really,
in my journal.
it really helps. Like when I was writing every day, that's the strongest way to manifest anything, man. Like that is the strongest way to retain like knowledge that you want to like if you want to if you say I want to learn about this, like doing the action of learning it and then writing down like then and there what you just heard or learned, that's the best way to retain it. I swear it is. But yeah, journaling is very good for your thoughts, for whatever you want to learn, for whatever you want to do.
Mhm.
That's the best way. That's why making music is something I love doing because it starts with writing. Like music starts with writing, unless you just freestyle all your music, but it starts with writing. And writing is the best way for me to get off what's on my chest or in my mind, or whatever message I want to put out. Yeah.
Okay.
Um. Do we have anything else?
No, I don't.
All right. Well, I think we're gonna wrap it up here, guys. Again, make sure you comment, ask questions, or drop topics that you want us to
Yeah,
talk
drop
about.
topics.
Like literally anything, because I'm into a lot of different things. So like literally anything you have, just bring it to us. Put it in the comments below, and we can definitely
Yeah.
do a episode about it.
I feel like we've both been through like other things besides where we're currently at. Like we had to start somewhere. So
Right, right. It like
like we're
we're
not perfect. We weren't always perfect. We're
right.
not perfect now. So
Yeah. So yeah, definitely. Oh, we can save it
what?
for another episode.
What?
We can. I was gonna add another thing about like what helped our relationship, but we can save it for
What
another
helped our
episode. We
relationship?
can do a story time instead for that
Okay.
one. But yeah. All right. We will catch you guys on the next episode.
Catch you on the flip side.
Yes. Peace.